Greetings everybody from my 2014 Mercedes-Benz GLK250 Bluetec. Thought I'd go ahead and do another update on what my experience has been with this car so far. So I bought it about 4 months ago with 144,313 miles on it. So now I'm up to 153,045. And so the very short version is I haven't had any issues with it. It's actually been completely flawless. But there are a few things to note that could potentially become issues eventually, and some things about the warranty and so forth. So this car had the emissions recall done at 119,000 miles, I think in 2021, and that actually gives 4 years or 48,000 miles of additional warranty on a quite comprehensive list of stuff. I mean, it includes things like the turbocharger, all the sensors for the emissions, I think even the cylinder head intake manifold. I mean, it's rather comprehensive. If you do a little Googling, you can find that out. That's one reason why this was such a good value, is that it came with that warranty, despite the fact that it has a lot of miles on it. And then there's another thing that's also under warranty, and that is the rear subframe. Earlier this year, Mercedes-Benz extended the rear subframe warranty to, I believe, 20 years and unlimited miles. This is one of many models of Mercedes-Benz's built during this era. I think as recently as 2016, like in the E-Class, and as early as maybe 2008 in the C-Class. A bunch of other models as well. So yeah, the rear subframe tends to rust out, and that's covered. I looked at mine. It is rusty, but I don't think there's really any holes in it yet. So I probably have another couple years before I have to get that done. And I want to make it last as long as I can, because I'm sure the new one would have the same problems and eventually rot out as well. But we'll see how long that goes. One other thing is, when I was inspecting the rear subframe, up above the rear subframe on like the floor, so that would be probably in the trunk area. I'm not sure. I don't think it's the area where the seat is. Oh, I better get over here. Wow, he's just on his disc. Anyway, it was really starting to rust a lot there. So this area of Mercedes is not very good for rust prevention. What I did was I got under there and I put extend rust treatment on there. So what that does is it converts the rust into a black polymer. Technically you're supposed to paint on top of that, but I just put it on there just to have some protection. There was like maybe 7 or 8 spots where it was blistering. And you know, a lot of that stuff nobody's ever going to get under there and notice. So I'm glad I was under there looking around. Okay, and then another thing, I did a couple videos about this. So this is a common thing on the 4MATICs, various models. I was hunting down a front end clunking noise, which oddly enough, now at these cold temperatures, it doesn't make the noise. It's only like when it's, I don't know, 50 degrees out, and that I would hear it going over slow speed bumps. but when it's really cold out, I don't hear it at all. So I mean, that along with getting an inspection on this car, where they thoroughly check the suspension, tells me it's nothing safety related. I don't know what it is. It could be like a strut mount, but the strut seems pretty well secured. So I've chosen to just ignore that for now, and just pay attention. And anyway, when I was under there trying to find out what might be loose, I discovered that the intermediate shaft for the driver's side CV joint, so there's an intermediate shaft that passes through the oil pan, and this is a very common issue. What ends up happening is something breaks off in the oil pan where the support bearing goes, and it allows for some free play in the center drive shaft, or intermediate drive shaft. So initially I thought that was the source of my clump, but it's not, and I also was concerned that would be an issue. So I did a little research. Apparently it's a huge deal, super expensive to get that fixed, which involves replacing the oil pan itself. So I decided to take the approach of just observing and reporting on my YouTube channel how that does. Now, the part I don't know is how long it has been like that. My most recent theory is that it's been like that the entire time that I've owned the car, and way before then. So it's been loose probably forever. I first discovered it probably about, I don't know exactly, 3,000 miles ago, maybe more. The thing is, there's no symptoms driving. There's no noises, no clunks, no vibrations. So I've decided to just keep driving it and see how long it goes. I've had a couple 4MATICs with well over 200,000 miles from this era, and never had an issue that presented itself with that particular thing. And yeah, if you've got a 4MATIC from anywhere plus or minus like 5 years from when this car was made, and you have over 100,000 miles, get under there and check. Grab your driver's side axle and shake it up and down. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it will probably be loose. I'm going to lower the camera because I think that could be, no, that's not a cop, that's just somebody with a roof rack. So, but again, it may not actually be an issue. Now, I'm constantly listening very, very closely to see if I hear anything amiss with any kind of noise. I'm very, very aware of everything that's going on with the car. So, yeah, so those things exist. But again, I don't think any of them are actual issues. And again, other than that, I mean, this car's been just completely reliable. Some stuff that's been done off the top of my head before I got it. It was regularly maintained, oil changes every 10 to 14,000 miles. Now, some people are going to say that's way too long, but it's actually not. I shined a flashlight down in the engine, looking through the oil cap, and it's perfectly clean in there. In fact, let's see, right now I have about 8,700 miles on the oil that's in there now, The most important thing with the oil, I think, is to use the correct oil. It's the MB, I want to say 229.52 is the new spec. You can also use the 229.51. So many of these cars get driven and maintained with the wrong oil, and it causes all sorts of issues. I think even, if you use the wrong oil, it can cause timing chain issues, it can cause emissions issues, and so forth. So I'm going to get off at this exit here. So, yeah, that being said, I'm not concerned at all about the long oil change intervals. I always warm the car all the way up, and I tend to drive this a bit more in a shorter period of time. This is my primary driver, and I think I'm going to stretch my oil change interval to 10 or 11,000. And I do have a Blackstone sample jar, which I probably will go ahead and ship off to Blackstone to see what 12,000 mile oil looks like in this car, and I will report back when I do that. So other than that, so the DEF tank is a very common thing to go out on modern diesels. That was replaced 2 or 3 years ago on this car. Now that item is actually not covered under the AEM warranty. You would think that it would be, but it's actually not. And that was pretty pricey. It cost the prior owner just under $2,000. Oh, you'll get to see an acceleration run here because I'm getting ready to merge onto the highway once the light turns green. So that was done. One of the last things they did before they traded it in was the DEF injector got replaced. That was covered under the AEM warranty. Otherwise, it would have been like, I don't know, $500 or $600 job for that. So again, the warranty covers 90% of what can go wrong with the emissions system, and some people have fought and gotten the DEF tank replaced with the warranty. I think it just depends on your dealer and how willing they are to go to bat for you or whatever. Other than that, just minor stuff. I did the transmission oil and the coolant in the 140s. The transmission oil was done at 64,000 prior to that, so it's had 2 transmission oil changes. I'm going uphill here, but you can kind of see the acceleration. And I got to get up to speed and watch this BMW. Got sort of rush hour traffic going on here. It doesn't get like really bad or anything, but there's plenty of it, so I've just got to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing here. And okay, it had charge air cooler hoses replaced. They had that done, I'm saying like 2019. I think it was over 100,000 miles. I had that same problem in my cruise diesel, but it wasn't until like 175,000 miles that broke. So I think that's probably another common thing on modern diesel engines, or probably for that matter, oh, there's a Golf TDI. Probably for that matter, any engines that have high boost pressure turbos. I think that's something that probably wouldn't even be a bad idea to replace as a preventative every 100,000 miles. And just trying to remember, the sway bar end links had to be replaced. They were blown out. I don't think any other suspension components needed to be replaced. There was something about a thrust arm or something like that that they said was leaking, but when I got under there, it was just a teeny tiny little spot. I mean, really not noteworthy. It wasn't loose. I've had multiple inspections of the front end, including one that I did myself. Nothing is loose, it's fine. In fact, I just had snow tires put on, and they did a courtesy inspection as well. No issues whatsoever. And yeah, it's pleasant to drive, it's comfortable. Overall fuel economy, 28.9 miles for 28.9 miles per gallon for 8,600 miles. I expect that to continue dropping as we run the winter diesel, have colder temps, snow tires, all those factors. In the warmer months, I was close to 30 overall. For this particular trip, 26.2 miles per gallon, largely highway, some back roads, and I did let it idle a bit after I started it. Yeah, so for what it is, I think it does pretty good. I know the regular GLKs with the V6, I've had a couple of those as loaner cars. They actually have horrible fuel mileage. I think you're lucky to get 20 miles per gallon out of those, which actually got out of much heavier cars with V8 engines, or much heavier SUVs with V8 engines. Let's see, get over here. We're good. And I think I can get over one more. I was going to set the cruise a little faster than what he's going, but I can get around these people here. So, yep, those are the updates. I would recommend one of these to anybody, but of course you definitely want to check the maintenance history. And I think that person in that Volkswagen is kind of a psycho. Obviously he's in a hurry, by the way he came up on the car on the left. You gotta watch out for other drivers. He gave me the stink eye too, probably because I had the nerve to pass him. I'm guessing he's probably gonna fly around, well, at least try to fly around. Now watch, he's probably gonna fly up on this truck and almost hit him, predicting what other drivers are gonna do. Pretty accurate there. He's hitting it. That truck on the left is going just fast enough and can't get around him. Oh, he's getting out of the way. Wow. I'm always impressed when a left lane hog actually gets out of your way. Okay, so I've kind of gotten off of the topic at hand there. Let psycho Volkswagen driver fly down the road. I'll set my cruise, go on my way. Okay, I think I have covered everything that I've done. Well, that's, speaking of psycho, I got his truck number there. I might call him in. That's pretty bad. Anyway, that's it. Have a great day, everyone.